You remember the name Ryan Walters?
Vaguely.
Vaguely. So he's the guy that did the Trump Bibles in classrooms, the Ten Commandments in classrooms, the curriculum that said we need to talk about the discrepancies in the 2020 election, the porno during the school meeting. That's Ryan Walters. All that and more. We'll get into it.
Okay.
So the good news is he's resigning as Oklahoma's superintendent. The bad news is he's becoming the CEO of the Teacher Freedom Alliance, which is a nonprofit that says it assists educators in their mission to develop free, moral, and upright American citizens.
I want.
And in his announcement and talking about him becoming the CEO, he said, "We are going to destroy the teachers' unions."
I want less of this timeline. This timeline's stupid.
So this was sent to me by the Haggis God. Great name, by the way. I was in Scotland not too long ago, and every day we had breakfast in one of the little cafes or whatever, I made sure to order something with haggis, because haggis is delicious.
I have never once in my life felt the compunction to try haggis.
It is good.
And I don't think I'm going to start.
And I was there with my child, who is vegetarian, and they were quite impressed with one place we went to that had a vegetarian haggis option, which I'm like, I'm not even sure how you do that, vegetarian, but sure. It's just ground soy, probably. But, yeah, so they've got a list of some of the stuff. So he tried to require schools social studies teachers to promote conspiracies about the 2020 election. He wanted to track the immigration status of children in the schools and require applicants for teacher jobs. Oh yeah, so he that was the PragerU test that we did last time. That was the thing that he said, before you can be a teacher in Oklahoma, you have to pass this test. And of course there was the Trump Bible thing and the Ten Commandments thing and the porno on his screen during a meeting thing. So it's good that he's not going to be the superintendent anymore, but he's, basically becoming a lobbyist against teachers.
I'm so happy. They're going to provide so many resources to teachers, like denying them resources.
Yeah.
That's going to be swell.
Have you ever wanted to buy even more supplies out of your own personal money for your classroom? Join up with our non-union. But I mean, at least he's not superintendent anymore. I mean, on the downside, that means it's we're losing an easy source of news stories.
Still, it sucks because, I have people who are teachers that are in my moderation team. So, this is something that hits not home to me, but home to people who are important to me. And that fucking blows. You know how when you objectively know something is bad, but then it gets 10 times worse when it's a degree away from you?
Yeah, but I mean, there is a chance that he's going to be less effective here than he was as superintendent, and he was not very effective as superintendent. Almost everything he did got overturned in the courts, and the Supreme Court either declined to even hear it, or it just never made it up there in the first place.
Yeah, but which Supreme Court?
This one.
The current one. The one
Yes.
with... So he wasn't effective when the deck was stacked in his favor.
Yes, correct. So the fact that he is no longer superintendent, but is now just part of a lobby group, essentially.
So
I don't know.
on the one hand, having done stuff with lobby groups before, you do have a lot more resources to make yourself rhetorically effective when you're part of a lobby group. But you don't have direct power the same way that you would as, say, superintendent. All you have is the ability to sit in a room with somebody and try to bargain.
Yeah, so basically he's gone from implementing the illegal stuff himself to a position where he's going to try and convince other people to implement the illegal stuff. So he's 1 degree removed now.
Yay. This is a fantastic timeline. I'm so happy I bought the tickets to this one, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I said this was mixed.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see why you say that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, also he did promote the Teacher Freedom Alliance while he was superintendent. So he basically gave them a bunch of power and then quit his job to become their CEO. So the mixed news gets worse.
Yeah.
Yay, corruption.
My favorite. I love this. I'm tired, Rhino. Are you tired?
Oh, I'm so tired. Although my stash of prepper supplies is growing. We've
Yeah,
got batteries. We've got a little lamp that can charge with a hand crank, and it's got a big enough battery to charge your phone. Although funny enough, you have to crank it for like 20 hours straight in order to fill it. So I'm not sure how useful that's going to be, but like, yeah, it's a lamp.
and the ambassador says, "You promised me good news. This is a lie."
I did not promise you good news. I promised you that we were going to end on something funny.
I
But
guess
even
that
the
is
funny thing, it's debatable whether or not it's good news. We'll get there.
I guess that is technically different.
We still got one news item. We have to talk about that stupid fucking meeting.
Oh,
Okay,
whoa.
well, first we're going to Spoonbill of Adam for $5. Says, speaking of teachers, it seems like everyone I talk to seems to hate teachers unions. Why? Just why? I can't speak to the local politics of teachers unions all over the states. In Ontario, teachers unions have kind of a bad rap because the teachers union is incredibly wealthy. Like they partially own the Toronto Blue Jays, I think. I might be wrong on that. Like if they don't own it, they have a major stake in it or something. I don't know, but it's incredibly wealthy, and it's seen by the general population as like a job. Like teachers have really good pensions because of the teachers union that owns part of a baseball team. And so it's kind of seen as like almost cheating the system because like of course there's that bullshit about like how they get 2 months a year off, which like they spend that 2 months a year preparing their lesson plans for the following school year. And like I have kids that are problem kids for the teachers, so I am not going to pretend like a teacher's job is easy because I know that my kids make it hard. So I don't know. I don't have an issue with the teachers unions. I think teachers deserve a pay raise. But yeah, I'm not going to go into detail about that.
Daughter Tiamat says, well, part of it's because Republicans have been spending decades declawing and defaming unions. That's true. A good portion of
Yeah,
the...
but teachers unions get I have noticed this as well. It's that teachers unions specifically get an inordinate amount of the hate.
I think it's because it's the union that we deal with the most. Like every parent on some level has to deal with the teachers union at some point in time, just because their kids are going to a school. You don't always have to deal with the electricians union. You don't always have to deal with the Starbucks union, but you do always have to deal with, in your mind, the people who are in charge of educating your child.
Yeah, like there's a lot of red tape, especially if you have a child with special needs of some kind, or if you have a what's it called? My kids have this, so I should know what it is. The like when you have a kid with like autism or something, you get the what the fuck is the abbreviation for? IEP, that's the one. Thank you, Katini. IEP. So when you get the no, it's IEP in Canada as well. So when they deal with the IEP stuff, there's stuff in there to protect the teachers as well as the students, and depending on like it's very different from state to state, my understanding is, but like it can be difficult getting that stuff through, and part of that is union protections for the teachers, but then there's also just bullshit red tape. Like there's all sorts of red tape that just makes things difficult, and part of that is because of union protections. But like that's one of those things where it's like, no, I understand. Like I don't know, it's a tricky situation. Fennec says, I hate the term special needs because speaking as a disabled person, our needs aren't special. They are just our needs. Calling them special just makes it easier for folks to dismiss them. Yeah, I get that. I am a 90s kid. Like the schools that I went to as a kid had like there was the main school and then there was the special needs classroom that I don't think actually did much in the way of education. It was just a place to put the kids that had disabilities of one kind or another to just get them out of the way. So yeah, I get that. And also as someone with like, I have multiple autistic children. I have children with behavioral issues. And as someone who like, I'm not officially diagnosed, but you guys have all diagnosed me. And my partner, who is a therapist, is convinced that I am also autistic.
Just wear everybody's favorite hat, undiagnosed, but pretty sure.
Yeah. So that's one of those things where, as a kid, if I was diagnosed, it's kind of a crapshoot whether or not that would have actually been better for me. So like maybe I would have gotten more help in school and would have gotten something that I needed and would have done better. Thank you for the hats, Jassa. But it was also the 90s. I might have just gotten shoved in that other classroom and not taught anything. So it might have been worse for me. I don't know. As it turns out, the 90s kind of sucked. Everybody kind of has nostalgia for it, but no, things have gotten better since then. I am black and AFAB. They were not diagnosing me. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate. That's an unfortunate thing that happened a lot for years. If you remember, for a while we had that. I don't want to call it a meme, but it almost fucking is, where we argued that women could not get autism. Like, women could not be autistic was an actual belief held by
that, but I do remember girls don't have ADHD.
Yeah, girls don't have ADHD, girls don't have autism. Like, there's been a lot of that.
So I am diagnosed ADHD, and my presentation of ADHD is a lot closer to what would be considered typically feminine. And so that's why I never got diagnosed, because I was not the kid that couldn't sit in a seat. I was the kid that could sit in my seat, but all my hyperactivity was internal in my brain. So I'm sitting in my seat, but I'm daydreaming about whatever the fuck. I'm in my mind. I'm back and forth. Like, I'm not paying attention to the fucking class.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and so, yeah, inattentive, not hyperactive type. Yeah, that's my understanding of the words that is used to describe that. But it's also been described as like typically feminine versus typically masculine ADHD presentation. It's like when you think of ADHD, you think of the kid that's off the walls and can't sit still. That is the typically male presentation, and a lot of girls did not get diagnosed because they could sit still, but they were internally off the walls,
bouncing around for fun. It's my favorite. But no, we do have a history of just like looking at various groups of people and saying, oh, that's just a factor of that group. That's not something that we need to look into any more than just that. Yeah.
And like this like, it's kind of ties into the whole autism caused by taking Tylenol while you're pregnant thing. Like the reason autism diagnosis has increased is because we're recognizing it in more people. It's like the diagnostic criteria have expanded. It's like back in the early 1900s, someone that was obsessed with trains was just like, oh, wow, that perfectly normal guy just really likes trains. It's like, no, that might be a symptom of autism. It might not be just a normal guy that likes trains. Like, I don't know. When autism was first recognized, it was like schizophrenia. Like it was classified as schizophrenia.
Oh yeah, in 1911. When autism was coined,
up until like the 1950s,
40s. So sorry, hold on.
Sure.
Let me timeline. 1911, the word autism is coined. The behaviors that were described by that ended up being reclassified as schizophrenia later on down the road. The word autism to mean what we currently mean when we say autism, that was 1943.
Yeah, and then they're talking about the Tylenol connection, and I just want to say about the Tylenol connection, like, even if the correlation is there, which all the research has shown that, like, when you actually control for things, the correlation goes away. But even if there was a correlation, like the authors of the one study that found a correlation, like, said right in it that we did not prove a causal link, we're just showing a correlation here. But like, even if the correlation is valid, there are other things that we know are risk factors for autism, like maternal age. If the mother is older when having kids, the kid is more likely to have autism. You know what else is likely to happen if a mother is older while having kids? She's likely to be in a lot of pain and need Tylenol. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, there's a relationship there potentially, but it's like, she's older when she's having kids, which is more likely to result in autism. But also, if you're older when you're having kids, you're more likely to need Tylenol while you're having kids.
What's that old comedian routine? If you have old sperm, you're gonna get old sperm babies. Have you ever seen what old sperm babies look like? They're the ones who aren't on the playground. They're the ones who are shivering over by the side of the corner bench.
Never heard that, but that does track.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie-chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.